The Draughtsman song is a solo exhibition for the Spanish artist Guillermo Martin Bermejo. Guillermo draws in pencil on pages rescued from old books, delicate portraits and elaborate imaginary scenes of the characters that populate his creative inner world. In his portraits there are composers, Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff and Prokofiev. There are writers, Gore Vidal and Lytton Strachey, one of the founders of the Bloomsbury Group. There are also dramatists, Ramon del Valle-Inclán and Bertolt Brecht, here shown standing in a stream surrounded by the magpies that visit Guillermo's garden in his village. Many of the portraits have the air of decadent Edwardians. Evelyn Waugh appears with the socialite Stephen Tennant, on whom Lord Sebastian in Brideshead Revisited was based. W.H. Auden and Christopher Isherwood also appear together, friends from when they were at school. Others include the Austrian expressionist Alfred Kuben, the poet George Trakl, and the writer Klaus Mann, Thomas Mann's son, a publicly gay figure exiled from Nazi Germany. Klaus Mann also appears in one of Guillermo's elaborate scenes, The Seven Deadly Sins, based on the ballet composed by Kurt Weill and first performed in Paris in 1933. On the right hand, at the front, a young Kurt Weill looks out, as if trying to warn us of the horrors that are to come. Behind him, the actors are already performing, with one dressed as Death, offering a crow to the spectators. On the left is Klaus Mann, with his sister Erika, as if dreaming the scene before them. Above, a young Isherwood appears again, together with a friend, watching from the forest. The same mountain setting appears across Guillermo's work, such as in this drawing of St. Francis's conversations with his companions on Mount Laverna. The tale is taken from the 14th century Little Book of Flowers, or Fioretti, and describes how St. Francis tells his companions that he will end his days on the mountain. Key to Guillermo's way of working is how he interweaves grand stories with his everyday experience, so that here St. Francis and his disciples appear as if in Guillermo's village in the mountains north of Madrid, in the company of people he knows in real life, friends, neighbours and fellow artists. Guillermo uses a similar approach in this large triptych, the Canterbury Tales. This work is inspired by William Blake's Canterbury Pilgrims from 1809, although it is independent of the Chaucerian stories. In Guillermo's version, some of the artists from the British Isles that have been most influential for him are gathered together on the mountain near his home. Reading from left to right, two Williams are the first to appear. William Blake appears like the host from Blake's original, shepherding us into the scene. Beneath him stands William Morris, and behind him Francis Bacon. Next is Mary Shelley, alongside Virginia Woolf, both of whom seemingly distracted while a teenage Icarus falls from the sky in the distance. Making a mystical offering alongside them, Lucian Freud and David Hockney come to put flowers on the tomb of Michael Fury, the young man who dies for love in James Joyce's The Dead. Finally, guided by a blackbird, Derek Jarman brings the scene to a close. The mountain serves again as a mythical location in this diptych, The Song of the Flies. This drawing is inspired by William Golding's novel Lord of the Flies, and by the film by Peter Brook of the same book. It presents the wild school children lost on a mountain island. Throughout the pandemic, Guillermo has constantly thought of how we perpetuate society's ills, just like the children in the story perpetuate violence even when they are distanced from civilization. The standard of the pig's head, symbol of the most violent group, rallies the main group of children together on the left. Opposite them, in the distance, and inspired by the figures in Caspar David Friedrich's Chalk Cliffs on Rügen, a young boy makes his way towards the cliff, perhaps as his only escape, while the two other figures try to dissuade him. throughout all Guillermo's works is a sense of a nostalgic yesteryear, of a golden age now past, and of a loss of innocence tainted by the harsh realities of the world. In many cases, there is also a simmering homosexuality, with hints of forbidden fruit, another country that existed under the surface of the decaying structures of old empires.